Hi, Katarina. It's Misha, the data analyst at Datos Lab Corporation. Today, I'm happy to be spending some time with you to take you through the IntelliAuto employee survey. So as commissioned by your organisation as an independent third party, we've undertaken a survey of your employees. We've taken a subset of 1,000 at random of employees, and we've asked them 29 questions. So we have some really good data to play with. And today I'm only going to take 10 minutes of your time just to take you through the findings of the analysis and also some recommendations. So as a quick overview, the key objectives as we understood was to better understand the Intelli employees. We understand you've had some negotiations and discussions with the union regarding work hours and female employee ratio specifically. So we focused on those two areas heavily. We know that IntelliAuto plan to move to digital in the next 5 years, and there's Industry 4.0s causing disruption in the manufacturing market. So there is changes coming in the industry, and I understand that you would like to get a bit of a heads up internally with your employees and work out how you can strategize with those changes. There's also the union to consider. So hopefully this information arms you with the decision-making power that you need. The 4 focus areas, and they form really our agenda for today's presentation, are to go through the working hours. So specifically looking at our outliers of employees that are working over 50 hours a week. We'll look at the differences in hours in conjunction with their before taxes income, age, and then their tenure in the workforce. We'll look at the employees, the female employee ratio compared to male, as well as the age satisfaction of job and promotion opportunities. And then lastly, the Industry 4.0 changes and whether employees are aware of the transformation there. Okay, let's get into it. So the summary of hours worked was quite interesting. I think the policy is at the moment that employees work 40 hours. And you'll notice that of the 1,000 employees surveyed, 453 cited that they work between 38 and 43, which is a good finding. There's also, even though this data is centralised at that point, there is also a skew towards the right. So we've got quite a few employees that are working well over that amount. And there is 18% of the 1,000 that are working over the 50 hours that you wanted highlighted and to build your awareness around. So we'll go into that in terms of our recommendations a little bit later. Differences in the worked hours. So all of these factors, or the 3 that we honed in on, show obviously there is that skew of working over 40 hours. With the pre-tax income, majority of the staff that work overtime and that are in that lower income bracket. So you can see a bit more density between the 10 and the $30,000 per year. And then in terms of the age, you've got the between 40 and 50 hours is a bit, there's more density there, but it doesn't really discriminate in terms of age as such. There's not really an obvious trend that we can look at. And then with the working years, there is a slight trend that the employees that have just started with the organisation tend to work more hours, and that may be due to them trying to get runs on the board, or they've come in with their enthusiasm in abundance. So we can have a look at that as well. Female employees, this was quite interesting. As an overall perspective, you've got 43% female employees in the workforce, so it is skewed towards males. You'll probably have some more industry knowledge on that than we do, but I understand that the manufacturing industry is quite skewed towards males and with that skill set. So there may be some more digging that we can do around the possibilities of improving that. The age of female employees. So what we found is there was, majority of your female employees were under that age of like 28. So there was, quite a young female contingent in the workforce. They're high employee satisfaction though. So you'll notice between very satisfied and moderately satisfied with their jobs, that will make up 86% of female employees. So that's a really nice statistic, and one that you can leverage in terms of, trying to increase the females, because they seem to be quite happy within the organisation. And then the likelihood of being promoted was quite even here, but it did have a slight skew towards employees reporting that they're unlikely or very unlikely to be considered for a promotion. So there may be some more work that we can do there in terms of qualitative research and get some more information. Okay, moving on to the awareness of Industry 4.0. This was also interesting when we broke it down per job type. So management, we almost had 50-50 between managers knowing what 4.0 was and managers that didn't. And then the same goes for the service industry, production, and even administration. So there may be some work to be done there. Males generally understood what Industry 4.0 was more than females. And then there is also, looking at age, a large drop off from 40 onwards of knowledge of 4.0. So key findings here: working hours, over 40% of respondents said they're working over 43 hours and 18% said they're working more than 50 hours. So if we extrapolated that out across your whole business, that would be 1,080 employees working over 50 hours per week. So that may represent a risk to IntelliAuto. And then we've got the total number of hours worked there for the whole organisation is around 270,000. Difference in working hours, as we explained, there is, some trends in there, but nothing too glaringly obvious. It's quite general. The working hours are increased across the board. Female employees, we've got, skewed towards male from the organisation, and we've got 80% of female employees are under 28 years of age. And there may be an opportunity there to hone in on their promotions and career pathways. And Industry 4.0 awareness. So we've got a lower level of awareness within female employees and those that are over 40, and approximately half of management and administrators are not aware of that. So looking at our key recommendations. Okay, so first up, we could consider looking at a workshop or a focus group to understand and unpack the reasons for these increased working hours and why employees feel they have to work more than the 40 hours. We could look at implementing a time and attendance software to help with that. I wouldn't recommend that straight away, but it's something to consider if we want to avoid industrial action. The HR team could build in work-life balance initiatives and target employees with long tenure and try to do some work with them around how they feel invested in their business. We could look at hiring policies with female and male and run some focus groups to get insights into the career pathways for females within the organisation. And then we could also do work around Industry 4.0, education, and try to really transform the industry inside out with your current workforce, but then with partners as well, and do a skills assessment so we can upskill employees and try to help them transition when the digital transformation comes. Thank you. It's been a pleasure working on this project with your employees, and we hope that IntelliAuto benefits from the data. Thank you. Bye.